Can you hear me?
Yep.
I think I need another earphone because I'm hearing this tapping noise in my ear. Are you hearing that?
No.
Okay. We're not recording on. Oh,
We definitely are.
all right. Welcome. We are now on episode 3, and you're here with Dice,
And Shay.
and we're the Chatty Pattys.
Chatty Pattys.
And this week, our topic is going to be parents' expectations versus reality. So, being so that both of us have kids, we are definitely very knowledgeable in this department. So, we know that a lot of times we project our wants and what we expect our children to be and what we want them to fulfill, whether it's us living through our kids or whatever. But we just wanted to go over that and discuss that this week. Also, we're going to tie it in with some of our favorite shows and maybe some shows that you guys watch or not or whatever. But I know growing up, there were certain things that my parents expected of me. It was not an unspoken rule. It literally was put out there. Like around those school age years, I better get good grades and stay the hell out of trouble. My teenage years was more, all right, you need to graduate high school and work on getting some scholarships to go to college or the military. So those were my two options. They were like, you going to college or you going to military, but you're not about to sit up in my house.
And then the fuck out.
Yeah, you getting the fuck up out of my house. And I'm the youngest. So they was just like, you got to do something with your life. And in adulthood, if I was to go into college, they would want me to graduate college, obviously, and then go on to have a good career and way future. They was like, all right, and eventually I guess find you a good husband. So they weren't, I wouldn't say that my parents were too hard on me as far as what their expectations were, because I feel like, they were fairly reasonable, and I was hard to believe. I was actually a really good kid. So let me explain good. I was a good kid because out of those lists, out of that list of expectations, I literally hit everything on the fucking list. So I'm pretty fucking lit. As my siblings, maybe they missed a few. But
does that mean that you were a good kid?
I met their expectations, and I'm sure in their older age, I'm exceeding it right about now. So, did I have a smart ass mouth?
Were you Kylie the original?
Look, I had a sassy mouth. I'm not even going to lie. I talked back, but I feel like my dad unconsciously supported that behavior because he laughed and he thought this shit was funny. And so I was a daddy's,
encouraged it.
Yes, I'm a daddy's girl, so daddy laughing and the jokes must be funny. Let's keep it rolling. My mom, she was not finding none of that comical. Like literally we had a strained relationship up until I left to go to college. So she did not bang with me until I was gone. So
she will probably not agree with the statement that you were a good kid. I'm just saying.
Okay, so let's say that good is relative. Okay.
I'm just saying.
But I could have been totally worse. I could have been getting into fights all through school. I could have been hooking school, getting F's and stuff. I could have dropped out and got my GED. I could have not went to college, not went in the military, and yeah, I could have just not got everything on their list. But I feel like in life, you're never going to have a perfect kid. So you shouldn't expect perfection. So, I mean, something's got to be bad. So if it's my sassiness, then I would take sassiness over the rest of the shit on the list.
Yeah, but I think, well, not attitude aside, I do think that parents have expectations, and not because they want a good child, but because they want their child to have a better life than they had.
Hey, I can agree with that.
So
I definitely can agree with that, because I know for my expectations for my children, I don't think, because times have changed, and so the wants and the specific wants that my parents wanted, I don't think I'm going to be as specific with them. I just know I want them same around that school age. I want them to get good grades. So that's kindergarten all the way through 12th. Like, we not getting those C's. Like, you going, it's some explaining to do. If we get in C's and below, I need to know why, so we can get you a tutor or talk to some teachers. We need to know what's going on. So I know I want them to do good in school. I'm lenient about the college thing because, as a college graduate and the amount of student loan debt that I am in, I would not freaking be mad if they were like, I'm not with the college shits. But at the same time, they have an amazing grandmother, and my mother in love, as we refer to each other, is actually, she set up a college fund for them. So they won't necessarily have to be as far in debt as I am. And hopefully, depending on whether it's academics or sports or whatever, that, they get some scholarships. So hopefully they don't go down the debt road that I did. But one thing, I'm not fucking with the military. I'm adamant about, even though I was like literally 2 seconds from being in the freaking military, I'm not allowing it for my son or my daughter. So I
Why?
hope, I just everything that I went through, I'm not with it. Like, going through the whole process, I was in JROTC in high school. I was in ROTC literally almost all through college. I went through the officers training camp. Like, I was literally a semester away from being a commissioned officer, and all fucking hell broke loose. And I just don't want my kids to go through this. I know people that are really close to me that are in the military, and I just don't want it for my kids. Like, we can figure something else out. Like, no.
It's free college.
I mean, it's
Let
free
them
college
tell
for
it.
some other things too. Like, if you get straight A's, you can get an academic scholarship, and that can be free college. You can, if you're good in a sport, you can get a college for that. You can write a bomb essay and apply for some private scholarships, like anything. But me personally, I just will not be directing them in that direction. But if they want to go to some type of trade school, I'm with that. Like, to get a license in something like that doesn't necessarily require a college education, whether it's like IT,
Right.
I don't know, some type of trade that they are really passionate about and they're serious about. I'm not talking about you about, I don't even know if they still have Job Corps, but like, you ain't about to go to something like, I'm about to go to this joint and get this license, and I'm about to cut hair. Not that there's anything wrong with cutting hair, because you can make loot, and I actually wish that I could cut hair, because that
I
would
was
be a
gonna say,
bomb
what's wrong
hustle.
with that?
But I'm just saying, something, there's nothing wrong with that. So I don't want y'all to think that I'm down in barbers, because they make more money than I do, probably. So I just want them to go in a direction that they love and that they can be successful in. I don't want them to be in a career where they feel like they're stuck because they have to have that job and that they're unhappy. Ooh, their mom. But so and then also later on, I want them to start a family. I want them to try their darndest to stay out of the children making department in their 20s. And that's
Hold
just
on, wait. So
because,
you have expectations for like them having a family and all that?
yeah, I mean, my parents did
Oh,
too. They didn't want me to, get married and get locked down too serious, too young, because I swear, like, they didn't like any of my boyfriends. Like, they like my high school boyfriend, but like, they really wasn't fucking with none of my boyfriends like that. Like, because I think, like, in their mind we were too serious and I was too young. So I just think that they was just like, look, just get your career together and like worry about these dudes later.
oh, I
So
get that part. I thought you meant so for like for me, as far as my daughter is concerned, I don't even feel like I don't feel like I've placed uh expectations on her, but apparently I have
oh yikes.
because this year she got all A's first,
Yes,
second, and fourth quarter. Third quarter, she got all A's and one B, and the B was like at 89.5. And she was crying because she was like, I just feel like I disappointed y'all. I wanted to get
oh,
all A's this year, and da da da. And I was like, but who asked you to get all A's? Like, I'm not mad that you have all A's, but like my only thing was like, I'm not doing no D's or no F's. And you
right.
could maybe get like one C a school
It
year
just
on some
depends.
like,
We need to
you know
talk
what I'm
about
saying?
why.
Right. But like I don't.
Did you ever have
A's
a
and B's.
conversation with her about academics? Maybe whatever talk you had, she really took it to heart.
I just was I'm not with no, I'm definitely not doing D's and F's. We're not doing that at all. And I was like, and C's to me is average. So I could see like if you're struggling in one subject and you get a C in that,
Mm-hmm.
we can work on it. Like I know when we went to California, she was struggling in math, and I think she got a C one quarter, but I got her a tutor, and then she ended up with an A. So like we could work it out. I'm not saying you can't get a C at all, but I also wasn't like you have to have all A's, and if you come home with a B, it's the end of the world. My
Right.
only thing is if I look at your grades and you don't have good grades because like you're just not doing work, that's a problem. Because she definitely like towards the end of the school year well, not last school year but the school year before then, she was getting cocky with it because she had good grades. So like towards the end of the school year she just stopped turning in work,
Oh, she
and
was
she was like, I
chilling.
mean,
She was doing the
yeah,
math like I can fail this, and
yeah.
still get this daggone B, honey.
I was like, no, we're not doing that because that's how once you get in that mood, once you get in that mode, like it's kind of hard to break. And
Right.
when you feeling like, oh, I got so many A's this quarter, I can skip this. Like, no, that's not a good little mindset. So, as far as her grades are concerned, I don't feel. I mean, I guess that is an expectation I placed on her, but her dad was saying that she was talking to her stepsisters and they were
Mm-hmm.
talking about their future, and the girls were saying they weren't going to college. They was just like, nah, I'm not going, da 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 da. And Mara was like, oh, well, I'm going, I don't have a choice.
I know that's right. But oh, she
So
said she didn't have a choice.
yeah, but that's again another one of those things where I definitely didn't. My ass got pregnant with her in college, so how am I
Right.
tell her that she has no choice when so basically when she said that, he told me that, I was just like, I really need to finish. So I'm back in school now
Yes, babe.
and more debt because I can't sit here and hold her. I can't be like, oh, you got to go to college if I don't go to college, because I'm already fighting with her now about like she wants to have kids when she's like 25, and I'm just like, dog,
No. We
right?
still, not we, because I'm way past that, but you still living the life at 25. Like, no, no, no.
Well, I
Like,
had a kid at 25,
I
so
know,
I'm
but
telling her
with
from
your
experience.
experience, yeah, like you're able to be like, nah, that's not what you want. Like, even though kids are a blessing, and we're not condoning anybody who has had a child in their 20s, but that's like prime lit turn up, fun, enjoy yourself, find yourself. You don't even really know who you are in your 20s. Like in my 20s, I thought I knew who I was, and I'm literally a totally different person. Friends that I've had from when I was a teenager to 20s to now, like I'm sure I was three different people in their mind. Like,
Man, like I told her, I was like, I legit didn't even feel like an adult until I was 27.
right,
She was
for sure.
like, for real? I was like, yeah. Like I feel like at 27, I finally was like, yeah, I'm grown. Like, who the fuck is gonna tell me anything? I think before then, I was saying that out of my mouth, but it's just like, when you turn 18, you like, I'm grown now. I'm 18,
Nah,
nigga. You
not
can
even a
vote,
piece. But that's about it.
you can enlist, but that's it. So
I literally didn't feel like an adult until I was 30. And that's because I got married. Like I still felt like a
I
kid. Like I mean not
think
a
I was
kid.
27 when I got married, so that's probably why.
Yeah. Marriage was like, I'm grown. I's grown now. We up here being Egypt on growing up hip hop. Like I wanna be an adult. Yeah, I know.
No,
I know.
no,
That's we gonna get there. We gonna get there.
no.
Because honey. But yeah, I just know that we want better for our kids. So like even with you with saying like you feel the pressure or you feel like okay now I need to go ahead and go back and finish college because I can't hold my daughter to this standard if I didn't. I don't think she would look at it like that. And
Yes, she will
you
because
think
of
so?
the baby. Yes, because when I'm like, you should not have a baby in your 20s, you have one in your 20s. And I'd be like, nigga, that's why I'm telling you firsthand. Like, it's nothing worse than trying to find yourself as a woman, trying to, I feel like your 20s is just for the fuck ups. You're gonna fuck up your money, your credit,
Mm-hmm.
your friendships, your relationships.
Right.
You, like I said, try to figure out who you are. But you add a life to that. Do you know how stressed I was in my 20s? No, nigga, you do know. You were there.
Yeah,
I was super stressed. Like,
for sure.
no, that was not fun. And I think a lot of it had to do with, like, I would look at some of my friends who might have been going through the same things financially, but they could just up and get another job and it would be nothing, or they could just go back to live with their parents and it was nothing. But like me, I never had to, like, even if I went and got another job, I had to make sure I had a babysitter and I had to
Mm-hmm.
do this and do that. So
Mm-hmm.
like, shit was rough. And when I don't have an expectation for her as far as like, if she wants to have a family or if she doesn't, that's on her. My only thing is, I told her I would like for you to be married, happily married, before you have a kid,
Mm-hmm.
because who you're with when you're 20 probably ain't gonna be who you with when you're 30.
Church.
Happily married, because you can be married and not be happy, and nobody wants to be stuck in that situation. But just be, uh, just just be more established. I'm not saying I have all my shit together now, but I mean,
Right.
I
So
definitely do more than 10,
I
12,
was
you
about to
know, however
say,
many years ago.
looking at where I was in my 20s and now, I'm definitely more established. I mean, I would hope so. And I just want the same or more for my kids. I mean, like, if they end up being like Mark Zuckerberg or something and they get it popping at like 21, then hey,
Poppin'.
do you, baby, start that family at 23 if you want to, because you can afford it. But I just want them to live their life and experience and do a whole bunch of stuff and live and make the mistakes, like you said. It's really difficult to make those mistakes when you got a family dependent on you. Like, all right, ma, like, I need you to turn down from brunch and day parties and come home and change these diapers. So it brings me to the question: what happens when your expectations of your kids are not met? And then what happens when things go differently or we struggle to help our kids through these expectations? So I know for us, our children are younger, so we don't have any adult children to be like, all right, I messed up on this part, the trial and error, and then this is how they turned out. So we're not fortune tellers, so we can't really say what's going to happen in the future. But I guess we can kind of talk about like how we would feel if maybe those expectations that we kind of, even if we haven't verbalized them to them, what we have in our head for what we want our kids to be. Like, what if they don't meet them?
Well, here's the thing. I don't recall having a conversation about college with her.
Mm-hmm.
But now that she has put out there that she has no choice, I'm rocking with it.
You
You have
like,
no
all
choice.
right, right.
That's what we doing. So for me, um I feel like for me as a parent, I'm going to do everything I can do to facilitate those expectations. And right now, my only expectation is that she gets good grades and that she's a genuinely nice person. Those are the only expectations that I have for her, because my daughter's an asshole,
Look,
and I have
that's why I
certainly
deep side.
realized that.
That is why I deep side, because I'm like, even though mine is young, like, her behavior is not.
It's her behavior not well with you or others, because what I'm saying is like I know that I've taught my daughter that if you, like, for instance, let's say me and you are walking in the house and we both got a ton of bags in our hands. I expect for my daughter to hold the door open for us, because not only are we adults, but we have freaking handful of
To
bags.
be
This
considerate.
little jerk, yeah, this little jerk will dead ass walk in the door and just keep going. And then when you be like, what the fuck? She'll be like, oh, my bad, I forgot. Or I wasn't paying attention. Like, but I know I have taught her better than that.
Right.
And so that's what I say when I'm like, just be like a genuinely nice person or genuinely considerate person. Like,
How do you even teach that? Because I need some pointers. Because I'm telling you, like, my daughter, like, oh my gosh, like, she's a jerk and she don't care, and she plays the I'm innocent role. But like, we know that little one there. Yes, yes, yes. She's not innocent. So
I don't know.
I don't know how to teach that. Like, I've also realized that my daughter's personality is not, I don't see that it is aligned with kind of like how I was when I was younger. I've always
Mm-hmm.
been, for the most part, outspoken. I never had to deal with anybody bullying me or like me not standing up for myself. But it seems like my daughter is kind of not that type. She's not shy per se, but she doesn't really handle conflict well, and she'll let other kids run over her. And I'm not expecting her to be out here like swinging on people, because I definitely don't want that. But like, if somebody takes something from her or does something to her, like, I literally, like, she'll come and tell me, and I literally have to coach her through it and be like, well, no, you have to do X, Y, and Z. Did you talk to the teacher? Well, then you need to say, no, give me my stuff back. I don't like that. Don't do that to me, blah, blah. And actually coach her through it. But she doesn't seem like the type that likes confrontation or would want to kind of stick up for herself. So I'm hoping that she grows out of that, because that's a life skill that I really, really, really want her to have. Because I see so many people, or I saw so many people growing up that maybe they were teased, and that's a whole nother topic of how kids are way more sensitive now about stuff. But like, people would get teased and like they wouldn't speak up for themselves. And me, like, I'm not even the one getting teased. I'm just like, well, why don't you say something? If you don't like them talking to you like that, just say something. Just be like, I don't know, you ugly. Get out my face with your funky breath. Like, say something. Like, but if you're
See,
not saying anything, like, they're gonna keep messing with you. So I just, maybe that's an expectation I have low key that I haven't verbalized to her, but I just want her to be able to stand up for herself.
so I feel like my daughter's on the opposite end of the spectrum. Like she's not, I won't say she's a bully, but I will say that like she'll tell me like, oh, I there was drama at school today, and she'll tell me, and it's like shit that could have been avoided because she just jumped out there and got upset about something that wasn't that deep. And then like once she took a second and like really went through whatever happened, she's like, oh, I can see why that
Your,
might be that way.
your daughter is a
So
Leo, so I feel her.
mm.
Yes, everyone, my birthday's tomorrow. By the time you guys hear this, it will already be past my birthday. But I understand and I feel your daughter's pain. She's a Leo, and we
No,
lash out. We lash out before we think. I do it a lot. I've gotten better in
well,
my
that's
older
not.
age. And I'm not saying that it's an excuse.
Mm-mm.
I'm not giving her a pass, but we're very impulsive with certain things. When something happens, we lash out before we think. It's plenty of times where I lash out and I'm like, damn, that was so extra. Like, why did they didn't even mean it like that? Or like, you was way too much in your feelings. Like,
Mm,
why you cussed them out? Like, I
no,
I feel her.
my that what's my other expectation? I want her to be able to handle criticism well because I feel like I don't feel like my mom handles criticism well,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't feel like I do. I feel like it's better than my mom, so I'm just hoping with her is better than us.
Right.
Right now, she's leaning more towards my mom's side of the world, but I blame that on her being a Leo
Oh,
because my mom is one as well.
okay. All right. Bash Leo. Bashing Leos during Leo season. I guess I guess
I
that's
mean,
what
why not?
happens. All right.
Why not?
I think a lot of times we just, maybe we focus too much on what we want our kids to be or become, but we also gotta, I guess, if we kind of find ourselves getting too carried away with it, maybe we need to look and be like, I mean, was I everything that my parents wanted me to be? Like, who am I? I mean, we want our kids to be better, but like, was we checking all the boxes? Like,
Well, so here's my thing. My expectations for her are more personality based than they are like how I want her life to look. Like she tells me all the time that she wants to be famous. Now,
oh,
I feel like uh it's weird because I feel like anybody can be famous, especially nowadays, but I don't feel like being famous is sustainable
mm-hmm.
for a lifetime. A
Right.
lot of people become famous and then they're forgotten.
Especially
So
this day and age where you can
anytime,
be internet famous like off of nothing super quick.
exactly. So I feel like what I'm trying to do is just uh, what can I say? How am I trying to say this? Crap. Anywho, I feel like I get it. I'm sorry. I'm trying to cultivate her interest. For instance, she said that she wants to bake. So she's been watching all these kid baking contest shows,
Mm-hmm.
and I got them recorded on the DVR. And so, like, we'll make cupcakes together and we're going through these recipes. And because I know that she wants to be famous, I'm like, Mara, you know, there are famous bakers. So, because what I tell her all the time is like, you don't want to be internet famous. You don't
Right.
want to be famous for 2 seconds and then you end up a joke or you just a meme.
Right.
Like, if you want to be famous, you got to have a skill. I was like, like I said, it's a lot of people that popped up. They was popping for 2 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
and where are they
Where they
now?
at now?
So like now she's about to join the band. So I've been showing her videos of like people who went on to play in amazing bands. Like, look at Beyonce's all girl band that
Right.
plays behind her.
And if you want to go to
So
college, you can definitely get a scholarship for band.
exactly. And then I show her some of like the HBCUs and their bands and how they be going off or
And they
whatever.
are lit.
So right. So I'm like, okay, you want to be famous? Cool. I have my reservations about it, but it is what it is. I know that you're a smart girl. So if you are telling me that you like to draw, okay, bet there are so now I'm gonna show her famous artists and I'm gonna put her in classes to expand on that or whatever. Um, so I don't feel like I have like a life. I don't have I don't have her life in my mind. I can't envision it. I just want her to right now, like I said, get good grades, be a nice person, grow up, and not struggle the way that I struggle.
Right.
And I'm going to be here to make sure that she doesn't.
I really think that's a good approach because I feel like if we put too much pressure on them, then it could kind of backfire. You know what I mean? Like if we
Like with me and my parents.
how you doing? Right. And sometimes you can cause a kid to rebel because they don't feel like they're living their life. They're living the life that their parents want for them. So like maybe that is really a good plan of action to be like, look, you tell me what do you want to do? And mommy and daddy, we're gonna help you get the roadmap to get to where you want to be. If that's like you said, you want to be a professional baker, well, guess what, babe? We about to be in this cooking in this kitchen. We're gonna be doing
Right.
recipes by the book, so you know, like classic recipes. We also gonna let you experiment. What do you think gonna taste good? And you know what? I'm gonna have some of my friends over so they can taste the drink. Prepare your craft. Well, let me show you about the business side of it so that you can have something to fall on and you know you're not getting
Right.
got. Like so that's like really tight. Like you're being more supportive, I could say, because I read this article and it's a little lengthy article, but I'm just gonna kind of breeze over it. That I saw online on like independent.com or something like that, and basically it was saying that about 10 or 12 things that all parents that were raising successful kids, it was actually a scientific study that all of them have certain traits of these parents who kids went on to, whether they were, they went to be a successful kid or like when they grew up they were successful. It was like small things that we might think is small, but like it helped to cultivate them to have a certain foundation to like have the tools to be successful. Like having chores, it teaches them responsibility and letting them know that pitching in can help the bigger picture. And just a small action, if everybody puts in, it helps the quality of life of everybody. Teaching your kids social skills, how to talk to people, how to not be rude, how to be respectful to
My daughter.
adults. And one of them was actually to have high expectations, because if the parents are just like, I mean, I don't really care, like, then what's going to motivate the kid to be like, well, I mean, if my mom don't care, like, then I can be out here, like, whatever, it doesn't matter. So just letting them know, like, you're an amazing kid and I expect you to do great things. Like, you're not about out to be out here slumming and bumming. Like, you're going to be amazing. You speak it into existence. Also,
Okay, and that's a good point though. The way, because at first I was like, well, no, because I know growing up, my father's expectations were, to me, they were more rooted in like, you better not f up, or you better not disappoint me, or you know what I mean, stuff like that.
yeah.
Whereas I feel like maybe like some of the expectations that my daughter feels comes from just how proud I am when she does achieve things.
So she likes
Like,
that
you know,
feeling of you being proud of her.
right. So when she's like, oh, because I guess she saw how excited the family was when she got all A's.
Mm-hmm.
So then, you know, when she got the 1B and she starts crying and she starts talking about disappointing us, and we're looking at her like, first of all, none of us had all A's in school, especially not her father, especially not him.
So stupid.
I was the smart one. But no, like I think I think having the high expectations
Mm-hmm.
are great, but it's the way that they are communicated to the
Definitely.
child. I think that's what's most important. If you're coming at your child like you better,
Right.
or you know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
like,
you have to, and I don't even think because like I said, I haven't really communicated a lot of the expectations because my daughter is so young that I have in my head. But like you said, how you communicate it, if you just, how you say it, like, you know what, I expect you to do great things. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're a smart girl. So, like, you should get good grades. Like, mommy doesn't want to see anything, X, Y, and Z. Like, not like you said, like you sounded like a drill sergeant. Like, what you talking about? You gonna come in here with straight A's? Or you gonna be doing blah, blah, blah. Like, it is the delivery and not making them feel like I have no choice. Even though she's feeling that way, she's come to that conclusion. It's not like my mom literally told me I have no damn choice. Like, I have to go to college. I have to get these straight A's. So that's definitely.
so I think that all of that is great when it comes to like your grades and your personality, but my child is approaching preteen years or teenage years or whatever you want to call it. And
Oh my
so
gosh.
now I have to direct my energies in other directions. For instance, this past weekend when we were at the hotel,
Mm-hmm.
I had went to go get an omelet and I come back and I see her looking somewhere in the distance. So I turn around, it's a little boy. So I was like, what you looking at? She was like, oh, I was just looking at the door. I was like, all the doors? That's not funny.
Look, she not even smooth with it. The
Like,
door.
not at all. I was like, and it was the embassy suite. So, you know, like the inside, you could see all the freaking rooms from the middle of the lobby.
Right,
So I
right,
was just looking like, I said, so you was looking all the way over there for the door when it's the door right over there.
right.
She was like, yeah, I mean, I just happened to look over there. I was like, would the door happen to have on a red shirt? She was like, Mom, da, 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 da. But so she was being all bashful. But then later on, we're back in the lobby, and I was like, "Oh, there go the door right there. That's the door you was looking at earlier today, right?" She was like, "Mom," I said, "No, you was looking at the door, right?" So then she was like, "Well, I mean, I think that door is really cute." So I was like, in my mind, I'm like, so she is just not even going to sit here and keep pretending that she was looking at doors. Like now she's just like, oh, we BFFs. Let's talk about doors. Like to the point where I had changed the subject. She was like, I want to go back to talking about boys. And so I was like,
Well, you
okay.
open that door and that communication, and which is a
I
good thing because
know.
I know, and for me, we would rather, even if it's uncomfortable for us, we would rather them tell us everything than they have a secret life, which all kids are going to have a secret life that it's going to be a part of their life that parents don't
But
know
I
about, which
wasn't
scares the hell out.
ready.
Look, what you thought she was going to say when you kept bringing up the door? She know you ain't stupid. She know, especially when you say the door with the red shirt. She's like, oh
Well,
dang.
she shouldn't have played with me from the jump talking about some damn door. Like, girl, what?
You know she young. She
Girl.
her perfect. She hasn't perfected
Her
playing
lying.
it off. Yeah, she still got some years to work on that. But yeah, she not good with the finessing yet.
Well, so I know as a kid, like I feel like my father, for instance, he didn't too many. I feel like I got good grades and it was just expected. Like it was an unspoken thing for me to get good grades.
Hmm.
I don't feel like they put any pressure on me for that. But I tell you one thing that they definitely had expectations for on my father at least was I was like not supposed to be talking or dating. Like you know how you hear like dudes will say, "I don't want my daughter dating until she's 30."
Mm.
Like I did. I feel like that's what my father thought,
Wow.
and it just I will say I love my father to death, but I feel like he pushed me towards boys more than if he would have just been chill with it, because it was just like,
It made you more curious because he was so like off limits, off limits, off limits, and you was just
not
like, well, why?
yes, and then not even that, but like he wouldn't ask me things. He would kind of come at me like accusing me. Like for instance, my brother, everybody used to come to our house or whatever. So I remember this is before I even like had my first kiss.
Oh wow.
And he was like, my father was taking me back to my mom's house, and he was just like, so what's up with you and such and such? I heard like X, Y, like you like on some sexual type stuff. And I was like, huh? He's like, yeah, that's what I heard. And I was like, nah, you ain't hear that about me,
Mm,
because I haven't done that. And so instead of being like, well, guys will make up rumors about you, this is what you can do. I mean, well, it's nothing really you can do
right.
to stop a rumor, but instead of asking me how I felt about the rumor and stuff like that, I kind of felt like he believed it. And he was just like, well, you could tell me if it
Well,
was
instead
true.
of
And I was
really
like,
asking
I get
you,
that, but it's not.
but I'm letting you know that's not the case.
Right.
There.
So, and like that kind of went on for so long that I literally lost my virginity because I was tired of being accused of not being a virgin. And I was just like, all right, well, let's see what this non-virginity
Oh
life is hitting
yikes.
for. And that's why I lost my virginity. I ended up not having sex again for a long time, but that's why I lost my virginity, because I was just like,
You like if I'm a
son, I
you
got
like
all
well if I'm
these
gonna keep being
rumors.
accused of it then like let's go game time. Yikes, that sucks.
Yeah.
Mental note.
And so from and so from there, it just was, for me, it was just a lot of expectations when it came to
Mm-hmm.
boys. And it was crazy for me, for my father to place all these expectations on me, while at the same time I was discovering all this stuff about
Mm.
him. And so I'm like, you're the nigga that you're telling me not to hang out with. Like,
You like we're being a little bit
what you
hypocritical,
mad
Dad, aren't
for?
we?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I
Maybe it
always
was just
like,
go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
when I'm whenever I'm having a conversation with her, I'm always just like, I may have done this, but this is why I'm telling you not to. Like, because this is this was the consequences
Mm-hmm.
of that happening. And these were the consequences of some of my friends when
Right.
they did the same thing. And I'm not, you're gonna live your life, you're gonna do what you want to do, but if I could take it back, I would. That's kind of how I try to
Verbalize that.
that's my yeah, that's my approach with her. My dad was just
Maybe
like,
your dad was trying to do the same thing,
don't
but he just didn't have the smoothness with the communication part. Because I'm sure he knew, like, I'm not the type of dude that I want my daughter to be with. So, look, just stay away from these dudes. Don't do it. Don't think about it.
to stop being that dude. My thing is like, if you're going to have, you cannot have unrealistic expectations and still be doing the
You
thing
have
that you
to
don't want
change
your
your
kid to
behavior and be
do.
more of a role
That's
model. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that I'm a perfect parent, but if I see something, for instance, when my daughter vocalized that she felt like she had no choice but to go to college, okay, I don't know where she got that from, but now I got to make sure that at least one of her parents
Right.
has a degree.
Right.
So let me go and finish, get my degree, so that when it does come a day where I feel like, I really think you should go to college, she can't come back and be like, bitch,
Oh,
you didn't
yeah.
go.
You'll be ready to fight.
You know
You'll
what I'm
definitely be
saying?
able to ready
Right.
to fight. So I know we see. Go ahead.
And so,
No, you're fine. Because you
no, go
finishing your
ahead.
story. I was definitely about to move on.
Oh no, I'm just saying. So like with my father, or even with my mom, like my mom, she had her expectations were crazy too, because like she wanted me to go to college, and like that was a no. Like she wanted me to go to college. There was no ifs, ands, buts about it. And so when I finally got accepted
Mhm.
to these colleges, a lot of them were in Virginia. One of them was in North Carolina, and then I was waitlisted
Mhm.
for one in Atlanta. So when I told her I had got accepted to the ones in Virginia, and there was one in particular I wanted to go to, she was like, "Oh, well, you should have stayed living with me in Virginia. Then you could have got in-state tuition. So I'm not paying. I'm not helping you pay for
But
college."
I
I was
thought
like,
you wanted me to.
so student loans off top, and so that's what.
Yikes.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, if I'm gonna place an expectation on my kid, I'm not just going to be like, this is what I expect from you. But then as soon as you turn whatever age, or whenever that situation is presented, just be like, okay, this is what I expect, figure it out. Like, I'm gonna
Right.
help facilitate it. So if college is an expectation I'm gonna place on you, then I'm gonna make sure that you're not going into it with a whole bunch of debt, and that we do things so that you can get the scholarships, put you in the right programs, hopefully, you know what I'm saying, to get you looked at and picked up and so
I
on and
think a
so
lot of
forth.
our
I
parents,
ain't just
they
gonna leave you
did
out
that because
there.
I feel like my dad kind of did that. And I think their expectations were good, but they just didn't. The communication and the execution wasn't as good.
The
Because
execution
my
was
dad told me
trash.
my senior year in high school, when you go away to college, make sure you don't fuck up your credit. Don't fuck up your credit. So I'm just like, all right, I'm not gonna fuck up my credit. This is me going to college at the time I was 17, I got down there doing registration. I had just turned 18 during registration. So in my mind, credit is credit cards. That's all I thought credit was my dad said don't fuck up my credit. So like when they got the little tables like yo, you want to get a credit card for free, just sign up this application, which that is trifling as hell that they do that, but they definitely have them on the college campuses, especially for the damn freshmen. And I was like, nope. Bing bong. My dad said to watch my credit. But I did go to the Sprint table and be like, let me get the cell phone. I did go over here and be like, oh, dang, gotta go to the hospital for emergency visit. Gotta pay that little copay. Like, it was so much stuff that wasn't explained to me that credit is way bigger than just a credit card. So when I graduated from college, they was like, man, you had a hard life in college, didn't you? Look at your credit. I was like, I ain't had no credit cards. They was like, oh yes, but you definitely got a cell phone from every carrier that you didn't pay for. You definitely went to the emergency room a couple of times.
I think that's just Black people though, because I've talked to so many people who say that their parents didn't talk to them about credit. My father sat down and talked to me about credit when
Oh
I was
man.
8 months pregnant, and was I 8 months pregnant? Or was she 8 months? Oh no, not 8 months pregnant. She
Oh.
was 8 months, because at that point I had already gotten a credit card because I got it for her
Mm.
first Christmas. Because I was like, I'm balling out. It's my baby. In hindsight, it's dumb as
Well,
shit
we don't
because
know
like
when we younger.
her first Christmas was like 4 or 5 months, and she was just looking at
I'm
them
about to
toys
drool
like,
on this joint.
"What are we doing?" Right. So, but yeah, by the time we had the conversation, I had already had a credit card, already maxed out one. I probably was on my second one. So, like, I don't think anybody is sitting down talking to their kids about credit. I know
Oh,
that I am, because I was
love.
struggling a lot having her. So I have like a little savings kid folder thingy, and we
Yeah,
done
I
talked about
definitely
all that.
when my kids get old enough to kind of understand that, because mine doesn't even know the difference between cents and dollars yet. But when she gets to that point, that's definitely going to be a discussion, because I feel like my dad had the good thought, but the execution, the explanation, it wasn't all the way. It didn't go through, so it was kind of lost in translation. And I know we see a lot of people, like in the media, that I'm sure parents have this like, because they've been so successful doing stuff, or like they have certain values that you would think like their kids would kind of, also follow suit, or their parents would have those type of views for them. Like watching growing up hip hop in Run's house, Rev Run, I mean, Mr. Joseph Simmons, the the practicing minister, he has what? It's five of them. So you got Angela, Vanessa, JoJo,
Who knows?
Giggy, and
Diggy, but his
look,
young fine
Cougar.
ass. He young as
But he
hell.
is cute. And what's the other one? Rusty. So,
Shit, I don't
oh,
even
they
know. Didn't
adopted.
they have a
It
baby
was her name
after that?
Miley. They adopted a little girl. Yeah, because
See, you know they have a show
is
on
it about
Netflix.
the one that they redoing their house?
I don't even know. I just happened to see the trailer yesterday, and I was like, "Well, these are not their kids, so I guess they're
Interesting. Yeah, I'm
acting."
gonna check that out, because I know they did have a show after Rev runs where, like, I guess all the kids had moved out except Russie and Miley. I want to say her name's Miley, the little girl that they adopted. But they were like, basically the show was about, no, I don't think that was on Netflix. Maybe it was like on HGTV. I'm not sure. But they were basically renovating their house, because like they bought this huge house back, in the beginning when Rev Run was like big and popping. But like a lot of the stuff on the inside of their house needed to be updated. So like each episode was them like
Mm.
updating and renovating a different portion of their house. So I saw that one.
Well, no, that's not. This show is like, to me, it's like Ron's house, but acting, like not the reality thing. Like it's. Look for the
Want me
trailer
to get
when
it?
we when we
I'm
finish
definitely looking into it.
the.
But like you have Reverend, who is a minister, and he, I'm sure, has these high expectations for his kids, and here he has his oldest son, was arrested, and
Smoking
smoking the
that weed.
tweeds and weeds. And then you have Angela, who was very promising, keeping the virginity. And then
I don't think she was
I,
that
I was
promising, but okay.
I was
You were
rooting
rooting
for
for her.
her. And yeah, she ended up
Oh.
losing it to a scammer and then got a baby and all of this other stuff.
You think she lost
You
it to
think she lost it before that and like was just keeping it low low? That,
me? So Angela is a Virgo.
freak joints.
And I'm not saying that she wasn't a virgin for well into her adulthood, but she she is saying that she lost, and again, this can happen. I just don't believe that shit happened to her. So she is saying that the first time she had sex, she ended up pregnant.
All right,
Like
Steph Curry with
ever.
the on point shot. Listen, take my first shot and I made it.
Let me tell you. And the thing is, I want to believe her because I know that the first time that I uh had sex with my daughter's father, my daughter was created, but I also
Right.
wasn't a virgin. So I'm not, it wasn't the double whammy. It wasn't like niggas was really like, come on, bitch. Like it's already hard for people to understand that like we literally had sex one time and got pregnant. But
Lose
to
your virginity and get pregnant.
I
You're
just
not buying it.
listen,
You need you need receipts.
I feel I feel like pressure was placed on those
Hmm.
children, especially after JoJo, he got arrested and he ended up having a baby out of wedlock, and then Vanessa had a baby out of wedlock, and so Angela had to hold on to that waiting for marriage type thing, and she just ended up getting caught by getting pregnant. I just don't believe that she was a virgin with that
Yeah.
scammer dude. That's
Yeah.
just me. But
We was
go
rooting
ahead,
for
girl.
you.
I get it. Nah, I wasn't. I was side eyeing her like, bitch, I'm a Virgo too. I know what it is. You probably was getting that
Look,
back
and with a
name
body
for a
like that, I
minute.
know everybody was shooting a shot because look, her body is lit. So I know they was like, sweetheart, 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 sweetheart.
I want to say one of them said Bow Wow, his dumb ass. You know he always got something to say.
Bow
I
Wow
want to say
challenge.
that he is okay. You got me. You right. You right. You
But
right.
I don't know. I'm not.
Damn. On your dick
I
though.
mean,
Well,
he was
yeah,
lying
niggas
about
do
an
all the
airplane,
time.
and the picture was on Google. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. He seems like the corny
You're
type, like he
right.
would.
You're right. You're right.
But then even
You're
on
right.
like other people as well on that show on Growing Up Hip Hop, you look at Boogie, which is Dame Dash's son, and Dame came
Mm-hmm.
from the streets. Like he did a lot of stuff that like he has said like I want my son to be like nice suburban good kid, not to go through the stuff that I went through. And he feels like he stated on the show that he kind of low key feels like it's his karma because he used to sell drugs. And here he is, he had a son that actually was battling with a drug and alcohol addiction. He went to rehab, and watching the show and following them on Instagram and stuff, it seems like he's clean because things like he don't even really want to have no relationship till he work it out and get himself together. But it seems like they've had a kumbaya. He's appearing to be clean, which I'm happy for. But I'm sure Dame had other expectations for him. I mean, he's still doing music and stuff like that, and he also started a clothing line. So I'm sure he's proud of him. But I'm sure it wasn't his vision to like have his son dabble
But
in
that
that.
Dame is the perfect example of what I was talking about with my father. Like my father was
Hmm.
not as bad as Dame, but like Dame's
Mm.
delivery
It's
is
super
harsh
harsh.
in all that
Yes.
he does. Like and everything that he does, his
He has no
delivery is
filter.
just harsh. So the way he would talk to his son would be like,
Yeah.
"Nigga, fuck you," and I
Hmm.
understood it. Like I understood, like, cause you're coming at me like I get it. You're my dad and all that good stuff, but like,
Right.
come on, son. You are really you're talking
Like you're
at
not
me
reaching me.
crazy. And then again, like you have these high expectations for me, and you haven't even like fully cleaned yourself up. Like, how can you sit here and have a problem with me? And I'm not on his side, but how can you have a problem with me doing drugs
Right.
when you used to sell drugs? Like, and you
Mm.
boasted about it in the past, like, and look at how you turned out. And I think that's another thing with children too. Like, they don't know that in
The
between
struggle.
stage. Like, going back to my daughter, she's like, well, you had a baby young, but look at you now. And I'm thinking,
It was not fun. It was not easy.
I was
I do
homeless.
not want you to go through what I
Like,
went
I
through
had
to
multiple
come out on the
jobs.
other end. Like, I want you to bypass all of this. Like, take the roundabout, please.
Sometimes it's that in between. They just see, where you at right now. So with Boogie, he's probably just looking like, and he's in California and the
Yeah.
Hollywood scene where everybody's probably doing drugs. And it's probably a couple of people that do them and they're still functioning addicts and all that other good stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. That one is complicated, but Dame ass is just
Yeah, he
harsh.
definitely has no filter. He needs to learn how to soften it up. I just don't think he knows how to. I guess it's literally just his personality. He's
Just tough
for sure.
love.
Um,
The definition.
Another one. God bless the dead, but
Please say it.
I'm going to get to, I think,
Ooh.
who you think I'm going to, but I'm gonna go there. But
Oh, okay.
I was talking about the I like Whitney Houston. You know, her mom, Sissy
um,
Houston, was this successful gospel singer. Her daughter, had an amazing voice and had a good career, but I'm sure she didn't see her daughter going down the path of, getting into drugs. She married Bobby Brown. They got together, had Bobby Christina. And then I'm sure Bobby and Whitney had big plans for Bobby Christina. And she kind of
mhm.
went down the same path that her mom went through tragically, and both of them passed away. But I know that's another situation. It's like, I'm sure there was certain expectations in that family that wasn't met. I'm not going to go too into it because I don't like talking about, people that aren't here. But
Well, I was gonna say
what?
something because what I had heard was that Whitney Mama was placing a little bit too many expectations
Mm.
on her, and so that whole squeaky clean image of Whitney was not who she really was, but because she had that image out there, she had to kind of live up to it. Because I don't know if you heard, like, I've been hearing it for years that Whitney was gay
I was
all
watching like
along.
either a biopic or something like that, and it was like her really really
Mm-hmm.
close friend was, and Bobby wasn't happy with it. Like he wasn't messing with her, and like some of the family didn't like her being around and stuff like that. I feel like it was like a show or a biopic that I saw that.
I heard that really she was with this girl like during the beginning of
Hmm.
her career, and they kind of like did it that or whatever. And so then, she's in Hollywood, everybody's doing drugs, and then like she went the polar opposite and ended up with Bobby Brown, who was known to be like the
Hmm.
bad boy. And like, I feel like from what I gathered, like she basically went out of her way to do the polar opposite of what was expected
Right.
of her outside of her
The
singing career.
rebelling.
Like, oh,
Hmm.
yes. And that's what I feel like a lot of times. That's why with my daughter, I'm trying to be more like, what are your interests? Let's try to cultivate them. Let's steer you in a path so that your dreams can actually get you some money when you get older, because you don't want to be broke. But I'm not trying to force anything on her because I don't want her to rebel. I don't want it to seem like she has to be a certain way for us, and then she ends up wilding out like I feel like I did, or like they say Whitney
Right.
did. Not to,
You want to be
yeah,
more of a
allegedly
authoritative person where you're kind of directing her as opposed to a authoritarian. Yeah,
dictator.
where you're like basically
Yeah,
like controlling and like, look, this is what you're going to do. This is my standard, and like this is what it's
right.
going to be. Yeah, because like you said, that can really backfire because if they're feeling too much pressure and they're being too controlling, they're like, look, I want to live my life. So you know what? F this, F what you expect from me. I'm about to do what I want to do. So it definitely can backfire. Um with You laughing like you know who I'm going to say. Who am I? Who am I?
Because
Who
I
am I going to
do.
say?
Come on, let's talk about Egypt.
Yes.
Come on. Yep.
So,
Yep. With her dumb
look,
ass.
I just
And her boyfriend had fake break. Okay, go
look.
ahead, girl. Let's stay on
I
topic.
cannot with her, and I get it because Pep is such a hovering mom, but
But don't have no damn right to.
not
But
one
go ahead.
piece. But I think with her being a hovering mom, she also tries to be too hard to be Egypt's friend. So it's like it comes off confusing as a viewer, and maybe it's the editing. You know, they always say on reality shows like it's the editing, but it seems like one minute she's trying to be Egypt's friend, and the next minute she's just like this big mother bee that just like won't let her breathe. And I get it, like, but you're hovering so much that you're not even paying attention to your son who's like begging for attention. But yeah,
That's a
whole
whole
nother
other
topic. This
topic.
man is begging for his mother attention and she's too much of Egypt's tail. But anyway, like literally they're trying to help her and be like, look, you want to do your career, you want to do like the bathing suit, the model, whatever you're trying to do. Like you literally have two parents that were in the industry that I'm sure have numerous connections, have been through stuff and could help guide you and make you not make so many mistakes. And you listening to Sam with the fake dreads that
I blame them. I blame the parents. I'm sorry to cut you off.
no.
It's their fault. But go ahead.
No, explain why do you feel
It
like
is.
it's the parents' fault?
Have you watched this show from the beginning, even when it was born?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody, not even just her parents, everybody babies her. They
Yes.
call her the baby
All
of
the
the show.
all the kids, all the castmates as
All
well.
the cast
Yeah.
members. Yes. So it's like I feel this is what my theory. Peppa and Tretch were wilding out in the
For
90s.
sure.
And so they are hip to
Yeah.
everything because they probably done everything. And so, like you said, they just extra protective, extra, they hovering, they clank
Right.
clank. Okay. Got her on super duper lockdown. So much so that like you're 17 years old and you haven't read your mom's book. Like I was
Look,
reading Zane books
man,
in
you got
middle
a whole
school.
ass
Like
smartphone. How you gonna read your mom's book?
like what are you talking
Girl,
about? Like they kept her so sheltered from the world that as soon as she turned
she got a piece
18,
of freedom.
she and wild out with the first
So she's
I don't
living
even
with
know what to,
him. She's like, he does come off super controlling. Like, she's supposed to be getting her music career up off the ground, and he got 90% of himself on the song. He just like, look,
and it's not even
not
the
at all.
song.
He looking at it like, look, this chick mom is Pep, her father is Tretch. I'm trying to do music. Like, maybe they can put me on. Like, I'm gonna act like I'm here. Like, I just don't. That relationship doesn't seem genuine to me. And then you say I want to be grown, so let's just maybe they'll take me serious and look at me as an adult. Because if I'm married, they can't say nothing. Ma'am, that is not
Like
the
what?
answer, ma'am.
That is when you just that's when you as a parent gotta look back and be like, all right, so what am I doing that my child feels like she has to do this to I to me it's like she wants
Mm-hmm.
respect and nobody is giving
Because
it
like
to
you said,
her.
they're still treating her as a baby, and she's not grown, but she's becoming a grown woman, so she wants a certain freedom, which when you get to when kids get to certain milestones, you got to gradually give them more freedoms. But if you're not giving them any, they just feel like a not a caged animal, because she's not an animal, but it's like you need breathing room. You're just like, yo, get up off me. Like, I need to experience some stuff. You have to allow your kids to fail, and I think they're trying so
But I
hard not
feel
to allow her to fail.
but I feel yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like up until this season, she was living with her mom, and then I feel like her mom's just like, okay, you're grown, you can go live on your own now, without like, as opposed to like gradually
She
like
literally just kicked that bird up
letting,
out the nest. Her wings ain't
yeah,
strong. She falling all the way to the ground. Like,
right. And then going back to what you were saying, as far as like this whole Sam situation, I know me, if my daughter moved out and then all of a sudden some bum was living with her, no, he got to get the
right,
fuck out. I don't care nothing about you being grown. He got to
right.
go. But she wants to be Egypt's
Yep.
friend at the same time. So she's not checking it until
Too
it's
late. She's
already too
walking in the
late. You know
chapel.
what I'm saying? Jesus Christ. I wanted to throw my remote control at my TV. Like,
Look,
Girl,
grown
what?
up hip hop stresses me out. Like, I swear, I be yelling at them like, yo, what?
I shit don't make no sense. Like, this is what you want to do to get grown? Come and pay.
Look,
Come on. Come on that older IRS
look, there's
return.
so many other
You'll
things you
feel
can do
grown.
to feel grown. Getting married is not not it.
Ugh,
Please.
not.
Another one, which I'm sure you're not going to speak on because you don't watch it, but Keeping Up with the Kardashians. So
Ooh, I knew you were
I
headed
know,
there.
and I know you're not even touching this, but I'm sure Rob Kardashian Sr., the lawyer, God rest his soul, that if he were alive and his children were what they are now, well, let me say, it all ended well with the beginning with Kim, and which this is a whole nother show as well. I feel like I don't condemn her for the sex tape because it's regular average Joes out here that's like doing way worse. I get it. But I do feel a certain kind of way about her mom kind of being like, well, like it's gonna come out. So let's like flip it and make some money off this, blah blah. Anyway, that's their whole thing. But it ended up working out. They all have successful businesses. They're all famous, making good money. But then we have Rob, which I'm sure,
The fat Rob?
I mean, fat, skinny, whichever Rob, he still wasn't doing shit.
I didn't know if you were still talking about Rob
Oh, no. Oh,
Senior.
yeah, I'm talking
Okay.
about the son, Rob Kardashian, the living one. Here you have all of your sisters and your stepsisters. Like, literally, they all have different businesses, whether it's makeup lines, fitness lines, doing, Courtney does, like, the interior decorating stuff. Supermodel, Kendall, like all of them are doing stuff on in their own right to make money. And then you have Rob, who, as far as I know, he just has a sock line and a baby by Black China. So I'm just confused, and I'm sure Kris Jenner is not the happiest mom in the world because I'm sure she is a momager, like she is the queen momager. Like, I mean, she didn't set her kids up even in fucked up situations for them to come out some kind of way with a lucrative ending. And I'm sure she has her son a path and vision, and I'm sure he's not meeting those standards, especially when you daggone knocked up your sister's ex's ex. I mean,
Rob is depressed,
Rob
so
has been depressed
he has
for
a.
10 seasons. I need him. They have a lot of money.
When you're rich, you can be depressed that
When
long.
you are rich, you have access to the best damn counselors there are. I need you to go and sit with them. Yeah. I need him to get us life.
I'm so.
I know.
Kardashians are just.
I know. I know.
That make my skin crawl.
But then you have positive, because I'm talking about all the ones that are not meeting up to, expectations. You have Tina Lawson. My. She birthed out of her womb not only Solange, who is amazing, creative, lit, fashion forward, everything. Beyonce. You birthed them both, babe. Like, look, I am here. And I'm sure she had certain expectations because they started out, upper middle class, because they weren't just middle class. They were like, above just making it. And, she had her own business. She had her little hair salon and,
they gave up a lot for their kids' dreams.
For sure.
Though.
But she also made them work for it. Like, they was out there performing in her salon for, if this is what you want, you can have the practice. You're not about to go out here and make us look stupid. And her father did quit his corporate job to end up managing them and stuff like that. And it paid off. And both of them are litty. Also, Ice Cube, his son O'Shea Jr., because both of them named O'Shea. But I mean, his father was, even though he did go to college, he was the nigga out here talking about fuck the police and shit. And like, he was out here gangbanging and cussing out Dre and shit like that. And like, his son following his more positive footsteps. And he's also an actor and doing a damn good job, I might say.
And Ice Cube made him audition several times for that spot in that movie.
He did not just give it to him.
Given.
Yep, he made him work for it and was like, you are going to audition like any other actor in this casting call. And I respect that because people would be like, oh, of course you're gonna have your son play you. Like, nah, I'm gonna have a good actor
Right.
play me, and if it happened to be my son, then it is what it is. Which that you can tell the type of foundation or like stuff that he's instilling in his son. You know what I mean? To just have
Right.
those type of expectations and on them. But yeah, I mean, there's different people that have expectations for their kids. We all do. We want them to be successful. But I mean, I think that you can't plan for everything, and you just can't beat yourself up when your expectations do not come out exactly how you want them to be. We can give all the tools that we can to our children to be productive, successful adults, and just guide them along the way and pick them up when they fall. Honestly, like, that's reality.
Well, Dad, if you didn't listen and you are tuning into these podcasts, let me just say, first of all, Lord, if you're on the third
Mm-hmm.
one, you are a good man. But I know that I failed you
Oh, don't say
up until
that.
like 26.
I know he doesn't feel that
No,
way.
for real. Nah, I feel like we had a conversation a few years ago, and he was just like, "Yeah, like I'm proud of you because a couple of years ago I didn't know what was happening, and I was like, I was trying to stay afloat, nigga. Where was you?
I was scratching and surviving. Good times. That's what
Fuck you mean? You didn't know. I feel like he was so because I said I got accepted to all those colleges, and I turned down some pretty good ones for a boy. So that was a huge disappointment for my father.
I'm sure he is happy in the end on how you turned out and the amazing woman you are now.
I mean, toot, toot.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but toot toot. Luckily, my parents are not technologically about that. They are not that. So they are not hearing this podcast. And but I can let you know, I can speak for them, and I can let you know that they are proud of me. I'm the youngest, and I'm holding them down. I love my brother,
Sure.
and yeah, the other joints out there. But
Oh.
I mean, pew, pew, everybody gonna die. Pew, pew. But no, I feel like, which you normally don't see, but like the youngest is the most responsible. Go figure, me being the most responsible. But anyway, I know they're proud of me, and my mom tells me all the time how amazing I am, and she don't know what she would do without me. So I'm lit, and I know I met their expectations. Even if they feel like I don't, I'm going to go the rest of my life feeling like I do, and that is what it is. Well, anyway, that wraps up episode.
No,
Oh,
no,
whoop,
no.
whoop, whoop. It doesn't. It does not wrap it up. It doesn't. I'm rewinding. It doesn't. It doesn't wrap it up.
So really
Mm-hmm.
quickly, in the same line of expectations, but nothing with parents.
Mm-hmm.
We have to have a moment for Nicki Minaj because I feel like
Uh-oh.
she had expectations,
Mm-hmm.
and those expectations were not met.
Mm-hmm.
And so she is having a goddamn meltdown on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want everybody to join together and pray for her because I'm tired of seeing the
Look,
shit.
it's
I want
everywhere.
everywhere,
She is
everywhere. I
throwing
want
a
it to stop.
full grown ass woman tantrum, and it's not cute.
It's
It's
not.
not like, yeah. Mm-mm.
Expectations,
And they weren't
okay?
met. But you have to understand that you can't beat yourself up
You
when your
can't.
expectations don't come out how you plan. You just gotta have a plan B, C, D, E, F, G.
Glory,
Glory.
glory.
And on that note, with this glory, we will wrap up episode
Wrap it
3
up.
for real. You are here with the Chatty Pattys. That is THECHTTYPATTYS at yahoo.com. If you have any comments, you want to let us know how we doing, how bad you think we doing, which I know we're not. You can follow us on Twitter at the Chatty Pattys. You can also follow us on Instagram. That's
Instagram.
also the Chatty Pattys. You can even go to our website and go to www.thechattypattys.com. It will have
And there you'll find every streaming service that we are
Yep,
on.
we are lit. We are growing and growing by the week. And you can find us on a lot of the major streaming services. Just go ahead to the website. It's the easiest way to find out all the links instead of trying to give you the link to every single platform. Just go to the website. It's some cute stuff. And we'll keep you updated. And we appreciate you for tuning in. And we will talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.